T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis on a mission to build, resupply, and to do research on the International Space Station.
Hey guys, welcome back to Brody Educates. Today we're going to be talking about astronauts and space exploration. Before NASA came around, it was just our imagination and the stars. Then came around telescopes, and then on April 12, 1961, Yuri Gagarin was the first man ever to be in space. The word astronaut derives from the Greek meaning for sailor of the stars, but Yuri Gagarin was a cosmonaut, which is a Russian-coined phrase. It means sailor of the universe. July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong was the first person to ever step foot on the moon. On November 20th, 1998, the ISS, or International Space Station, was launched. And ever since its launching, other countries have been adding new modules to the International Space Station. Here's a little question. What is space? Well, it's everything beyond Earth's atmosphere. Space begins 62 miles above the Earth's surface. Imagine driving up like a highway that went all the way up. And it would only take an hour to get there if you were going 60 miles per hour. The moon is 1,000 times farther from the Earth than the ISS is. That's 250,000 miles. Now that's far. One day when we send a spacecraft to Mars, it will take at least 7 months or more. That's pretty long. I thought you'll ask, what is space like? Well, to start you off, it is cold. A whopping negative 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Brrr. Like a cat. Also, there is absolutely no sound in space. In the movies, it shows a lot of noise outside of the ship. Well, astronauts can probably not hear this. This is because sound needs something to travel through, like air. Space has no air, therefore sound can't travel. Astronauts on the ISS orbit the Earth every 90 minutes. This means they get to see the sunrise every hour and a half, and they see the sun set, well, 45 minutes later. Here's a funny question. Does space have a smell? Well, most people who have been to space would say yeah. It can smell like cooked steak or toasted almonds, which it smells nice. What type of training do you need to become an astronaut? Tons. The first 2 years of training is mostly classroom work and learning from previous flight experiences. The next couple years of training is can be zero gravity training, scuba training, flight training, survival training. It's a lot more hands-on stuff. They even have a full-size ISS model. How cool is that? Astronauts go on this airplane for training, and it goes like straight up, way straight down. It will make you so sick. So sick that they named it the Vomit Comet, because it makes you puke. Another part of an astronaut's training is survival. They drop them out in the woods with only a survival kit, so they have to survive on their own for a few nights. That's sus. So, how did spacecraft get to space? The answer is simple. Rockets. The spacecraft is only a small portion of what you see on a launch pad. Yeah, there's like multiple parts. And they drop off as it flies up. One huge rocket is actually smaller rockets layered up into one. They have to be able to house tons of fuel, making them extremely powerful. As rockets are used up, they detach from the spacecraft and burn up as they're going to the ground. And little pieces may land on the ground. And the reason why they do this is so the spacecraft can be much lighter and faster. Rockets are also used to launch robotic spacecrafts and satellites to further explore our solar system. These satellites and robotic spacecrafts are equipped with cameras, probes, and there's also Mars rovers to study the atmosphere and terrain. Fun fact coming at you, the Saturn V rocket that launched Apollo 12 was struck by lightning twice in the first minute of liftoff. Guess what? It still made it to the moon, and they completed their mission unharmed, completely. Now, that's tough. So what's it like living in space? Well, let me tell you the answer. In the past, astronauts would go on missions where they lived on their spacecraft in extremely cramped space, which made for shorter missions. Now, most of them travel to the ISS and stay only for a few months at a time. They share space usually with 2 to 5 other astronauts. Here they work, eat, sleep, and exercise just as they would at home. The International Space Station was first built by Russians and Americans, but ever since, the Europeans, the Canadians, and the Japanese have been adding new parts to the ISS. The ISS is powered by huge solar panels, and it has 6 docking ports for spacecrafts, kind of like a 6-car docking garage. Jobs on a spacecraft can consist of research, science experiments, repairing, and maintenance in the spacecraft. Sometimes they have to go outside. This is called a spacewalk, or EVA. When you're doing a spacewalk, you actually need an adult diaper, which is just weird. But now on a spacecraft, they have toilets, so thank God for that. Don't be suspicious, 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 don't be suspicious. They used to use bags, but now they have toilets with straps so they don't float away. Thank God for that part. And they flush with suction. Which brings us to a different question. How do they bathe? Well, because they can't have water floating around because of so many electronic equipment and they could all die. So that's why they have to use wet wipes. Refreshing. Also, another question. How do they sleep? Well, they have their little sleeping quarters that they strap themselves into so they don't float away. If I was an astronaut, I wouldn't use the strap so I could wake up floating. Fun fact for all you shorties. Did you know you're actually taller in space? This is because the space between your joints spreads apart because there's 0 gravity. Did you know humans weren't the first living creature to travel to space? First up, we sent fruit flies. Then Russia sent a dog named Laika. Also, 2 tortoises flew around the moon in 1968. A chimpanzee named Ham went to space too. That name's just funny. Ham. Why haven't we gone back to the moon? Nope. Only 6 out of 20 missions were successful. And the reason why is it is a lot of moonies. The Kennedy administration estimated $7 million as the price for the Apollo 11 mission. Now that's a lot of money, but it actually turned out being a lot more money. $20 million. Now that's a lot of money. Gosh, I'm exhausted even talking to you guys about how much hard work and dedication it takes to be an astronaut. They really put their whole lives on the line for that mission. Well, I hope you found space exploration as cool as I did. Also, before I go, shout out to my barber Mossy for giving me a cut. And my mom. Without her, these videos would be absolute crap. Well, make sure to like, subscribe, and if it's possible, slap that notification bell. See you next time. Scientist out. Scientist out.